Good day.
We are the students in News 12 St. Augustine, presenting our reflections and learnings towards each subject. As we choose Youngstown, we are already expecting that it is going to be a hard process of learning to make. But we are all here. Stay safe, survive those difficulties. We are going to make this video in the podcast to show that we share knowledge and we conduct gesture in one way to portray the said humanista. As expected to be possessed. Everyone in here played their role as humanista, as we learn about stories, proper usage of conclusions. Another is how we value our ethic in community, society, environment, and politics.
The creative non-fiction or CNF genre can be rather elusive. It is focused on story, meaning it has a narrative plot with an inciting moment, rising action, climax, and denouement, just like fiction. However, non-fiction only works if the story is based in truth, an accurate retelling of the author's life experiences. In this part, I make realizations toward the story, how it goes, what is the turning point, also what I understand, and what lesson did the poem impart to me as a reader. Next is creating non-fiction story where I bring back scenarios before that I still remember and create it as a short story. Like what is said, creative nonfiction works if the story is based in truth, an accurate retelling of the author's life experiences. Like this, I portray how my experiences goes in that day and how the conversations flow. I can relate it in creative writing where it is writing a fiction where the authors creates events, scenes and characters, sometimes even a world.
Creative nonfiction. Creative nonfiction is the best subject for me. It is because it encourages you to practice critical thinking in literature or in real life situations. As I continue answering this subject, more reading and writing happens. At the same time, learning after those sleepless nights. Those dozens coffee I take is all worthy because I learned how to make personal essays and the common technique I always use in narrowing the ideas, thoughts, feelings, and facts about myself. Another is making stories that helps you open your imagination in its widest boundaries where your brain is capable of. Reflection. Most of the time, people think that it is hard to understand and learn these lessons because of grammars, punctuations, techniques, and format. But I see it is opposite. I find it more fun because it shows act that I am playing with my brain in a creative way. I see the subject as my mother that I am always fighting with. I am loaded with reasoning and I always talk back with the respectful answers when she rants about the things I do that she does not like. In general, why I use it fun to do because I do not think about its difficulties. I imagine that it is a game in order to have abilities you have to grind yourself up to be a master. A step-by-step progress is better than creating service of obstacle to tackle for achieving the victory.
Introduction to World Religions and Belief Systems exposes students to the rich history, belief, and practices of various religions in the world. By drawing insights from philosophy and the social sciences, Students can reflect on contemporary religious issues affecting Philippine society. What is Introduction to Religion? Covering all major religious traditions and their subsects, volume in the series offer comprehensive and authoritative examination of the topics, including historical development and insights into belief system, theological issues, and ritual. What is religion and belief system? Religion is a collection of cultural systems, belief systems, and worldviews that relate humanity to spirituality and sometimes to moral values.
You will learn the Hinduism, Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, Islam, Confucianism, and Taoism, of their description of other religions and religious practices, and able to know their significance principles. It also helps us to develop our key skill for pursuing of any career that we want. It will teach you how to be strong in life together with the presence of God.
I learned that God gave His Son to save us in our sins in life. There's a lot of challenges you will encounter with. Everybody has beliefs about life and the world experience, and it's important to learn this religion so that we can prevent and aware of our actions of this is right or wrong. It helps me to grow my mindset to be more respectful in others, to be kind and harmless because I know how it feels when someone treated you like an animal. Even animals need to be respected and treated right because they also have a life. Nowadays, there's a lot of calamities incoming upon us, nor do we know when the world will end.
For learning this lesson, I learned that you will not get your dreams if you don't make an effort. For pursuing your dreams, put always God and have faith on Him. Being humanista, we need to help each other. We need to know the value of others. We all know that we have a toxic society, but we don't have a choice but to love and look for their worth, because Bible says, "But I tell you, love your enemies, bless those who curse you. Live your life to the fullest because God is with you. Nothing is impossible when God promised us 100% assurance that He will fulfill it." This lesson makes my faith even more stronger that I will survive in life no matter how hard it is.
From the word itself, the subject megatrends and critical thinking in the 21st century contains informations of the wide range of changes or development and how people apply, analyze, and evaluate information in today's world. Megatrend is a general direction of development consisting of several phenomena or a wide-ranging process of changes, such as social, economic, political, environmental, and technological change, and causes of development that affects business, economy, society, cultures, and personal lives. Examples of megatrends in today's world are climate change, population, and technology. Critical thinking is generating questions, evaluating information and arguments, making connections, identifying patterns, reasoning, constructing knowledge, and applying it to solve problems in the real world. In today, where world is evolving, critical thinking skills is evolving as well, such as on how people carefully analyze something to better understand things, how to look at a situation logically and clearly understand it from multiple perspectives, while separating facts from opinions, myths, prejudices, intuitions, and assumptions. Examples of critical thinking are researching and experimenting, where it is used to identify problems and found solutions.
In the entire lessons given in this subject, one particular lesson I don't forget is globalization. In this lesson, I learned the characteristics of globalization and its importance in the world. Globalization is a phenomenon where its aim is to link the international communities to promote social, cultural, political, and economic growth of every country, where it facilitates exchange of ideas and values by sending of scholars and promotion of tourism, and promoting economic growth through creating jobs and cross-border exchanging of goods, capital, and labor. Advantages of this globalization is it gives opportunities for the developing countries to catch up to other developed countries. It promotes social justice and human rights among states. And what I have said earlier, it gives opportunities to people and country, as it provides jobs and technologies to developing countries. Though it has advantages, other important thing I know is it has disadvantages too, like domino effect. Example of this is when a failing economy will affect its trading partner in other country.
Megatrends are longer-term structural transformations that have irrevocable effects for the world around us. The recognition of megatrends in investment processes provides valuable information. As a result, megatrends have an impact on our investment decisions, from which businesses and industries on how we locate opportunities. Moreover, as a young student, it helped me boost my interest on journalism, communication arts, liberal arts, education, and other social science that would change the world in the small steps that I will be taking for an individual who is curious about what lies on the other side of the fence. In other words, it prepared us to face the world and speak with a large number of people, in which it's talk, the community, society, politics, and government, and most importantly, the progress. It is inevitable through the challenges surrounding resources and systems. As a student, it is work to develop a set of divergent and plausible scenarios to help prepare my future. In order to do that, we need your help in understanding the level of the impact that relevant megatrends will have on the development. It changes and increase visibility in the context of learning, inspires new opportunities for growth, adapt to changes, and allow us to connect the dots to see broader patterns around risk and opportunity, as well as strategy development within the frame of my growth and development as student and human being.
My learnings in megatrends and critical thinking in the 21st century. It provides opportunities for students to discover patterns, analyze and derive meaning from trends, develop critical thinking and understanding the ethics of care. It provides area of knowledge where deep understanding is required. It will help us to discover and differentiate relationships between causes and consequences. This subject may also be applied in facing challenges addressed by the world today. My reflections. I can definitely say that the subject will help me analyze and approach certain situations and problems that may occur in the future. We should often not look and approach something without pondering well and simply giving opinions that doesn't help at all. We should look at the different lenses and claim it with proper investigations. The 21st century cultures is devoid of critical thinking since the educational systems do not teach children, teenagers, and university students how to think so they can think for themselves rather than being dictated to by groupthink or busy dictator.
What is creative writing? Creative writing is a form of artistic expression drawn on the imagination to convey meaning through the use of imagery, narrative, and drama. What are the forms of creative writing? Now that you know the meaning of creative writing, let us look at the different forms of creative writing. It aims to develop practical and creative skills in reading and writing. It introduces the fundamental techniques of writing, fictions, poetry, and drama, and discusses the use of such technique by well-known authors in a variety of genres. What are the forms of creative writing? Now that you know the meaning of creative writing, let us look at the different forms of creative writing. Expository. Since the term expository includes the word reveal, it is a good descriptor for this style of writing as it reveals or puts out information. It is definitely the most typical type of writing you will come across in your daily life. This type of writing can be demonstrated in newspaper, articles, essays, and journals. Descriptive. The aim of descriptive writing is to help the reader imagine a character, an experience, a place, or all of these things together in a great detail. Authors use all 5 senses to describe the environment. The types of descriptive writings are biography, travel writing, and nature writing. Persuasive. The aim of persuasive writing, often known as argumentation, is to persuade the writer to adopt the author's viewpoint. In a typical piece, the writer may share personal views and provide reasons to persuade the reader to agree with them. Narrative. The aim of narrative writing is to showcase a plot, whether it is a true story or an imaginary one. Characters will appear in plot pieces and the reader will experience what happens to them through the story. Dialogue is often used in a narrative prose. The 4 common types of narrative writing are linear narrative. A linear narrative depicts the event in the order that they happen. Non-linear narrative. A non-linear narrative delivers the event of the story without following the order. It uses flashbacks to change the chronology of the story. Quest narrative. A quest narrative is a story where the protagonist works relentlessly to achieve an objective. Lastly, viewpoint narrative. In viewpoint narrative writing, the subjective perspective of the narrator filters the sensory details.
What are the forms of creative writing? Now that you know the meaning of creative writing, let us look at the different forms of creative writing. As discussed above, creative writing is explorative and interpretive and therefore has several distinct forms. Poetry. Poetry is one of the most popular mediums of creative writing. In poetry, there are absolutely no rules. Poetry can be as creative as music. Writers have the freedom to experience with all kinds of poetry. Haiku. This type of poetry focuses on the beauty and simplicity of nature. The poetry are usually 3-line stanza. Free verse poems. This is an open form of poetry and hence does not contain any pattern, rhyme, or structure. Ballad. A ballad is a poem that tells a story based on legend or a folktale. Sonnet. A sonnet is a 1 stanza. Number 2, novels. Novels are certainly the most popular form of creative writing. They allowed readers to escape from reality and dip in and all of new world created by the novelist. 3 different types of novels. For instance, my stories, romance with thrillers, science fiction, fantasy, and historical fiction. Number 3. Short stories, also known as short fiction. Short stories are a form of creative writing that is shorter than a novel and contains just a few characters. They usually fall between 3,000 to 6,000 words and hence can be read in a single sitting. There are 5 elements of short story, and these are character, a person, an animal taking part in an action of short fiction. Setting, the time and place when the action is taking place in the story. Plot, the foundation of a story with a series of events and characterize action that relate to the central conflict. Conflict, a struggle between opposing forces is called a conflict in a story. Number 4, essays. Essays writing requires creative thinking, therefore, they are a form of creative writing. Essays are usually associated with academic writing. However, there are different types of essays such as personal essays, descriptive essays, argumentative essays, and narrative essays. And the last is journals. Almost everything you write that does not follow a specific structure is creative writing, including your journals.
The discipline of social science. In defining the terms science, social science, and society, in this is the discussions truthfully understood the scope of the study in the broadest sense. At the first, I thought that social science only studied about the society of humans. About it was made clear the society is a group of the same species which included animals. In relation to this, social sciences are very important discipline that needed to be studied about because understanding the behavior of each species to present come the capability to think and create solutions that will solve the social issues, since that we experience how in the result of what happened in the past. We learn about scientific discipline because it focuses on the invention of facts about humans and other social animals. Furthermore, because the historical, cultural, sociological, psychological, and political forces that shapes individuals' actions and their impact on society. And now I created a video clip and keep watching.
conclusion, the main reason why it is important to study the social sciences is because the knowledge of the social sciences can help us improve our societies. By studying social science, we are becoming better informed about how societies should be put together. Studying social sciences can provide us with so many important answers and observations that may help to improve the understanding of our lives, and those help us to improve our interactions with each other. The discipline of historiography, regarded by many as a social science, and certain areas of historical study are almost indistinguishable from work done in the social science. Strictly speaking, the social sciences, as distinct and recognized academic disciplines, emerged only the cusp of the 20th century. But one must go back further into time for the origins of some of the fundamental ideas and objectives. In the larger sense, the origins go all the way back to the ancient Greeks and their rationalist inquiries into human nature, the state, and morality.
With the applied social sciences processes, standards in social service delivery are observed. A set of core values is considered in the delivery of human and social services. Services are given with quality. Social justice is pursued. Every person is considered to have dignity and worth. The importance of human relationship is a factor in social services delivery. Integrity and competence are expected of all professionals in the practice of social service. They are expected to work within their areas of competence and to develop and enhance their professional expertise. People need our help by social workers to address social problems. Social injustice is challenged.
Philippine politics and governance.
Philippine politics of governance is an introduction to the study of the state, origin, and its elements. Central to the study is a political experience of the Philippines on the period of the barangays, the colonization, the struggle for independence, the Commonwealth, and finally the formation of the Republic. In the process, it has helped the learners gain a better appreciation of their rights and responsibilities as individuals and as members of the larger sociopolitical community to strengthen their civic competence. Politics is an essence to study government, or more broadly, to study the exercise of authority. Politics is the art of government, the exercise of control within the society through the making and enforcement of collective.
What is Philippine politics and governance? Its constitution specifies the three branches, executive, legislative, and judicial, govern separately and equally within the Philippines. Legislative branches have veto power, confirm or reject presidential appointments, and are capable of declaring war. Students learn about the methods and processes that are used in the study of political actors, structure, processes, and outcomes. Ultimately, this course enables students to examine the Philippine state's constitution and governance structures, as well as the Filipino culture, and ultimately provides students with the tools to study and critique the Philippine state, constitution, governance, culture, and realities. Study of politics and governance explores important questions such as who is in control and what gets done. A social decision in terms of freedom of choice would lead one towards a different perspective from politics. Studying the things we have studied has given us the opportunity to discover our own political beliefs and to see in much greater detail and benefits the disadvantages of the vast array of political ideologies that are present in the world today.
Reflection. The Philippine politics and governance subject is indeed very helpful, especially to us senior high students in NUMS. It was our subject on our 11th grade first semester, wherein we gained so much knowledge, especially when it comes to politics or governance here in our beloved country, Philippines. We really want to learn this kind of topic since this made me more interested and motivated to study more from this lesson. This subject talks about the concept of politics and governance in our country, the nature, forms and consequences of power, the state, nation and globalization, and more interesting topics that belong to this subject. We learn so much from this subject, and one of these is we already know how to articulate the definition of politics, we already know how to differentiate the various views on politics, and we know the connection between the phenomenon, which is the politics, and the methods of inquiry, which is the political science. We also know how to define power, how to recognize and analyze in nature, dimensions, types of consequences of power, and to assess how power is exercised in different situations. And lastly, we also learn how to define the nation of state, how to differentiate nation from state, how to explain the meanings of globalization, and to evaluate how the globalization influences nation-state. All of this knowledge that we learn from this precious subject are all special to us, that we will truly keep this not just in our mind, but also in our heart. We will use this lesson that we learned by teaching others, especially those students or persons who are interested from this topic. We also give them courage to study this kind of lesson because it is all worth it to learn, since we will not just use it in school but also we could apply this in our real life situation. In conclusion, we will prove them that this subject is indeed helpful and as well as useful, especially to us senior high UM students.
Community engagement, solidarity, and citizenship focus on the application of ideas and methods of the social sciences to understand, investigate, and examine challenges of contemporary community life. It focuses on community action initiatives such as community engagement, solidarity, and citizenship, as guided by the core values of human rights, social justice, empowerment and advocacy, gender equality, and participatory development. It aims at enhancing students' sense of shared identity and willingness.
I learned so much from this subject, and it targets improving students' feeling of shared character and eagerness to add to the quest for the benefit of all the local area. It empowers understudies to coordinate applied sociologies in the local area activity drives. Practically speaking, local area commitment is a mix of science and craftsmanship. The science comes from humanism, public approach, political theory, social humanities, hierarchical turn of events, brain research, social brain science, and different disciplines. It additionally comes from getting sorted out ideas drawn from the writing on local area investment, local area advancement, voting public structure, and local area brain science.
The subject disciplines and ideas in the applied social sciences provides an introduction to the applied social sciences of counseling, social work, and communication. These fields get their start from the theories and principles that are found in the other social sciences such as anthropology, economics, psychology, sociology, and political science. In the course of social science, the focus is primarily on the gathering of empirical evidence pertaining to human and other social animals. Social science studies the historical, cultural, psychological, and political forces that shape individual actions and society. An example of one of these disciplines is anthropology, which is the study of ancient societies and the cultural traditions of those societies. Moreover, social science tackles on the field of study known as economics, and it mainly focuses on how limited resources can be used most effectively to satisfy an infinite number of human wants and needs. Furthermore, geography is under the subfield of social sciences, and it is the study of how people interact with their natural environment. Geography is also known as landscape geography. Social sciences also explore the study of the past as it has been recorded for posterity, and it is also known as history. An important part of this course is the study of political science, wherein the study of power, politics, and government are discussed and given focus. Other than that, the scientific study of people's behavior and the mental processes that underlie them is also known as psychology. It is under the field of social sciences also.
Well, social science cannot be completed without the scientific study of society, which is known as sociology. In addition to this, the various approaches that are used in social science offer an introduction to the most common methods and theories used in the social science, and identifies the key idea and assumption associated with each approach, in addition to the key theoretical and methodological problems associated with each strategy. In conclusion, the most important reason why it is important to study the social sciences is that knowledge gained from doing so can assist us making improvements to the societies in which we live. Through the study of social science, we are able to improve our understanding of the proper structure for societal organization. The study of social sciences can provide us with a great deal of useful information and insight, which in turn can assist enhancing our understanding, our life and relationship with one another.